I can't win with you guys because every comment I get is, why do you always do a video about crypto in your car? So when I don't do a video about crypto in the car, I do one in the office, and then they say, I prefer your videos in the car. So here we are back in the car talking about cryptocurrency in the UK. And we just had the general election, which was last week. As predicted, Labour have got through. So what does this mean for crypto now that Labour are in government? In the 2024 Labour manifesto, it was 26,000 words. All right, 26,000 words. And 0 of them words mention crypto. Not one word. Not a sentence. Not even the word crypto is mentioned in that 26,000 word manifesto. If you look online, scour the internet, or you use the latest chat GPT, you will find that the amount of times Keir Starmer has ever mentioned cryptocurrency is 0. Not once. Now, going back to the manifesto, the Institute of Fiscal Studies has said, on current forecasts, and especially with an extra 17.5 billion borrowing over 5 years to fund Labour's plans, this leaves literally no room within the fiscal rule that Labour has signed up to for any more spending planned by the current government. And those plans do involve cuts to both investment spending and to spending on unprotected public services. Yet Keir Starmer has effectively ruled out such cuts. How they will square the circle in government, we do not know. What has he ruled out then in terms of raising taxes? Because Labour are obviously known for raising taxes, that's what they're traditionally known for, to fund public services. Keir Starmer has explicitly ruled out raising the rates of income tax, national insurance, VAT in the manifesto. This decision is part of Labour's strategy to alleviate the tax burden on working people who, according to Starmer, have been overburdened by tax increases. Interesting. Instead of raising these taxes, Labour plans to generate additional revenue by targeting other areas. High taxes on non-dom individuals, cracking down on tax avoidance, imposing VAT on private school fees. This will raise 7 billion. Now, I put a poll in my crypto group. I've got a free crypto group, by the way, called the 10X Club. And it was about the election, who you're voting for. Another poll saying, are you worried about crypto at the moment? Which was interesting. Interesting to see what people were voting for. And people's comments on what they thought Labour would do in terms of crypto tax. Again, if you want to join that group, it's completely free. Link is in the description. I also have a VIP group as well. If you want to take things further, I'm not going to go into too depth about what they are today in this video, but if you want to find out more information, click the links for either in the description and the top comment. Now, what Keir Starmer has also said is emphasised that the Labour government will need to make tough decisions on spending and fiscal policies. He acknowledged that the economic situation they would inherit will be challenging, requiring stringent management of public finances. Now, in terms of any immediate changes with tax or capital gains tax, so if you didn't know, crypto tax in the UK comes under capital gains tax. The same thing. So, for example, if you were to make money in some shares, it would come under the capital gains tax rule. In the UK at the moment, you've got 3k on profits, and then you've got your personal income tax bracket. So if you were on the basic income tax bracket, you would pay 10% on your profits above 3k, and then if you were up at the high band tax bracket, you would pay 20% on your profits. Now, Rachel Reeves, who is the new Chancellor of the Exchequer, has said there will be no updates on anything capital gains tax before the summer recess in Parliament. So, another thing as well, Rachel Reeves has never, ever, in a political career, mentioned cryptocurrency once, just like Keir Starmer. Neither of them have ever mentioned it. No Bitcoin, no Ethereum, nothing. So what does that mean? I said Labour would raise taxes. And they will at some point, because I've said, like I said in another video, it has been talked about as a Labour policy in previous videos by MPs, where they want to raise capital gains tax, which would mean that, and the reason they would look at doing that, and there was an article posted by a Labour MP, basically saying that only 3% of the UK paid capital gains tax last year, so that's 3 out of 100 people, and that would raise 15 to 17 billion apparently, in line with, if you put it in line with the income tax bracket. So that means that if you were a lower tax bracket earner, you obviously pay 20% on your tax now. That would mean that capital gains will be at the same amount, so 20%. Higher earners will be 40%, thus doubling what it is now, thus creating that extra revenue. Now, any rise to capital gains tax would next be announced in the autumn statement. So what the government do is they announce it in the autumn statement, then it would then come into play in the next financial year. They could implement it immediately, but I think there's a couple of pieces of good news in here. So the first piece of good news is nothing is going to happen at the moment, and if they were to implement it, it will be announced in the autumn statement. I think personally it will be extremely unlikely that they would implement anything in the autumn statement before the next financial year. So for example, if you were to make any gains and cash out in crypto, which would be from, if you made any from April this year, 2025, to March 2020, sorry, April 2024 to March 2025, in that period, it would still come under the existing rule, which would be what I've just explained then. If they did implement anything in the autumn statement, it'll probably be the next tax year, which would be April 25 to March 26. Some other good news is capital gains tax is not at the top of their list. If they've never mentioned crypto, if they've not really spoken about capital gains tax, it's not at the top of their list at the moment. They've just got new into government, and what they will want to do is they will need a few quick wins to show how they are different from the Tories. So for example, they've already talked about having a fund, a government fund that they're saving. They've also talked about reversing policies with offshore wind farms, and they've already spoke about negotiating with junior doctors. So they're trying to show the goodwill in the first 6 to 8 weeks, first few months. They've got to show some good happening. They're not going to get into government and say, right, now we're in, we're going to tax you, tax this, tax that, because everyone's going to get annoyed. What they're going to do is come in and explain or show what they're going to make better straight away, i.e. we're going to build these new houses, we're going to get XYZ a pay rise, we're going to increase benefits for XYZ, then to sweeten the blow for the tax rises. So I think they're implementing all this now, get the quick wins, then they're going to hit you in the autumn statement with what he's mentioned previously, the tough decisions, which will be the tax rises, and that's probably where they're first going to mention capital gains. Now, Labour, and I mentioned Keir Starmer's not really mentioned cryptocurrencies, all he's kind of alluded to, and Labour's policy really is Labour, their official stance is the same as the Tories. They want to make the UK a global hub for cryptocurrency. What that specifically means is not 100% known, but clearly the global hub for cryptocurrency is going to be following the lead of the Conservatives in the central bank digital currencies. So we know that the Agenda 2030 and without getting into conspiracy theories, the Agenda 2030 is the central bank digital currencies. The Conservatives really like this idea. Labour will follow this idea as well, and that's the official stance. CBDCs rolled out probably by 2030. The digital pound. I've signed up for updates on the Bank of England website. You can do that as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what the UK kind of does in terms of the CBDCs, how it's going to work. They've said it's not a crypto. I know people have said that's because it's not decentralized. Come on, XRP is not decentralized. But it's going to be interesting to see how they implement it, what the incentives are for this, and how it links in with your actual cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Keir Starmer himself, I very much doubt, outside of Bitcoin, knows anything about crypto. He may roughly know what Bitcoin is. He may roughly know what stable coins are, because there's an EU rule that's come in place about more transparency for them. But I very much doubt he knows how Bitcoin works. Ethereum, he probably hasn't heard of Ethereum. He definitely doesn't know about DeFi, and he doesn't know pretty much anything else about crypto. He may hold it through one of his funds, an ETF possibly, but that's all he knows about crypto, is that it exists, the Bitcoin exists, and the UK is going towards a central bank digital currency, probably 2030. That's probably all he knows. So that's where we are at the moment in crypto. It is good news at the moment that the clampdown has not started, if anything delayed, but obviously we'll see what happens with the Bank of England updates and the central bank digital currency, his announcements that will come in play with how he's going to raise more money. Capital gains seems the easy win, and obviously what that means for crypto going forward. And let's see if he actually does mention in his 5-year stint as Prime Minister, maybe longer, what he actually thinks of crypto. Will he attend any events that are crypto focused? Will he hold any events at Parliament? Will he attend any events on crypto? We'll see. Hope you like my channel anyway. If you do, drop us a subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys very soon.